Welcome to everyone here who's practicing. So my name is Erin. I am the co-founder of Yoga Down London, and I've been kind of doing these sessions with the coffee community for the past couple of weeks or month, I guess. Time goes by so quickly, I can't even remember. But yeah, so thank you so much to United Baristas, Caffeine Magazine, and Oatly for setting this up, and hopefully you guys can kind of get a little bit more, a moment of space or peace, a moment to breathe as well today, whatever your day has in store for you. But with that said, let's get going. So we're going to sit in a nice comfortable position on the mat. As I said before, try to sit away from the wall. So you don't want to kind of lean back on a wall, use some sort of support behind us. We want to try and stay nice and upright. But feel free to have a cushion or a block or something underneath the sit bones just to help with a little bit more comfort, a little bit more support there. And if you want to just extend your legs out in front of you, if that's more comfortable, even coming to rest onto the shins, coming into a kneeling position. All of those options are totally welcome. And then just let yourself settle down, allow the hands just to rest wherever feels most natural, maybe tops of the hands to the knees or in your lap or just down to the side. And begin to close down your eyes. So the physical act of us closing down the eyes can help kind of separate us from everything that's kind of come before, letting go of what's around you. And let's start to bring our awareness within. For the moment, just noticing how your natural breath feels, how the body feels. Now, we often have this tendency when we kind of switch our focus from everything external to us to our breath, to try and control, to manipulate, to kind of judge the breath. Just let it be for the moment. Just observing how it feels, just as it is. With every exhale, just letting the body settle a little bit deeper into your seat. Then we're going to start to breathe a little bit deeper, start to even out our inhales and our exhales. And we're going to do this through what we call box breathing. So I know a lot of you, I've taught this to you before, but if you're new to the practice of box breathing, I'm going to demonstrate and kind of explain to you how it works. So it's where we kind of inhale for 4 counts, hold the breath at the top for 4 counts, exhale for 4, and then hold the breath for 4. And the reason why it's called box breathing is that you can actually visualize a box in your mind as we kind of move through the breath pattern. And this is a really great way to deepen the breath, to let those inhales and exhales become even and balanced. And this will in turn help you to access the parasympathetic side to your nervous system, which helps you feel relaxed, feel calm, and a little bit more aware as well. So we're going to practice it together. So just starting to bring the breath through the nose, in and out through the nose if you weren't already breathing this way. And then we'll begin. So we're going to inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. One more round together. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Now letting go of this breath, bringing yourselves back to the natural rhythm, the natural flow. Noticing if there's any slight changes in the body. Perhaps you feel a little bit more spacious on the inside. And you're just going to let the head bow down slightly. Chin coming towards the chest, letting the back of the head, back of the neck, down along the spine to elongate. And then keeping your eyes closed, guys, I want you to make sort of little half circles with the head. So you're just letting the head swing to the right and then swing to the left. So we're not creating full circles with the head just yet. We're just letting the head swing from side to side like a pendulum, gently easing and stretching into the sides of the neck. Let's take a couple more. And then softly bring the head back to center. Start to open your eyes, nice and gently, just letting yourself readjust to the lights, readjust to the vibrancy of the room around you. And then eventually just lifting the head up, coming into a completely upright position. Wonderful. And we're going to get going with our physical side of the practice. So if you are sitting on a pillow or you're sitting on a block, feel free to move into the side now. And we're going to start in a little cat-cow position. So we're coming onto all fours. Just bringing the shins down to the mat, bringing the tops of the feet down, the hands pressing down to the fingertips. And just take a moment here to kind of get comfortable. You might want to just gently rock back and forth. That can really help to open up into the wrists. I know a lot of us kind of suffer from sore wrists or joints, and it's just really nice to kind of get a little bit more movement back into that. So just taking your time, moving around in whatever way feels good for your body today. That might mean that you create little half circles with your hips, kind of like what we did just now with our neck or our heads. You might feel a little bit more energized this morning and kind of create full circles, really scooping them towards the edges of the mat. And each of these movements is going to really help to open up those wrists, also open up into the rest of the body as well. So if this is the first thing you've kind of done this morning, it might feel nice just to kind of stretch out the arms, kind of ripple up and down through the spine, start to mobilize the spine. And this sort of thing is something you can do when you're eventually back at work, wherever you are. It doesn't have to be kind of sitting down on the floor like this. I'm sure, you probably won't want to do that if you've not got a mat or anything. But these sorts of like little movements you can take are really great to do wherever you are. Just kind of like ease back into the body, start to open up, create a little bit more space. Beautiful. Let's just come back to that tabletop pose. So we're actually going to be bringing our shoulders, guys, just above the wrist. So if you can see here, we're tracking our joints one on top of the other. Knees are just below the hips. Having a gap between your hands and your knees here, roughly about shoulder distance apart and hip distance apart. Pressing down through the hands, pressing down through the feet and the shins. So we're going to come into our cat-cows to really lengthen, open up the spine, open up the chest. So breathing into your tailbone's going to lift up towards the sky. As you do so, you're dropping your belly down, you're scooping your chest through the upper arms, gazing forwards. Deep breath in here. And as you breathe out, starting from the tailbone again, we're tucking it under this time, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, protracting through the spine, we're pressing down through the hands, letting the gaze come back towards those thighs. Let's take a few more rounds together. Breathing in, tailbone lifts up, belly drops down, scoop the chest through the upper arms, gazing forwards. Exhale, tailbone tucks under, rounding through the back, chin to chest, pressing down through the hands. Couple more. Again, starting with the tailbone, dropping the belly, scooping the chest through and up. And as you exhale, tailbone under, rounding through the spine, chin to chest, pressing down through the hands. Let's take one more together. As we start from the tailbone, I want you to think about this mindful movement as you're kind of moving one vertebra in line with the other, gazing forwards. Exhale, tailbone tucks under. We're moving slowly, creating a little bit more mindfulness about our body, checking in with how that spine feels. And just pausing at the top here now, guys. I want you to try and push the pelvis forward a little bit more. So imagine as you're trying to get your pelvis towards your face. And you're really protracting through the spine. You're pushing up through those shoulders. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's come back down to that tabletop pose. Wonderful. Now, from here, guys, I want you to I'm going to switch it over so you can have a little look, so it's easy to see. We're going to take our right leg out behind us, tuck the toes into the mat, and drive the heel away. So as you push that heel away, I'm just going to move that little pillow back. As you drive that heel away, you should feel a lovely stretch and opening into the calf, into the hamstrings, maybe working its way all the way up into the glutes, perhaps. And then from here, we're just going to kind of roll back and forwards. But as we roll forwards, I want you to bring the top of the foot down into the mat and push the ankle down, so we're opening up through that ankle. And then we're just going to keep taking this motion. So let's take an inhale as you push back through the heel. Exhale as you push forwards and press the top of the foot down. Two more here. Inhale, pressing back. Exhale. Pressing the ankle down. One more. Inhale here. Exhale, moving, shifting the weight forwards as you press the top of the foot down. Beautiful. And then we're just going to come back. So the toes are tucked. We're not pressing the heel all the way down. We're actually going to bring the sole of the foot down to the mat. Take this left foot off to the side. So I've kind of got the wall behind me, so I can't move it too much. But you're going to take the foot off of the mat over to the left. So you've got a little bit of an angle here. Then bring your right hand to your hip. We're stacking those hips open, pushing them forward. So push the pelvis forwards. Then you're going to reach the right arm up and take the arm over the head, so reaching forwards. Getting a lovely side stretch here. So as you press down to the blade of that back foot, guys, think about taking that length all the way up to the fingers. So don't just let the hand hang out here. Nice and strong, engage through the whole side body. Wonderful. You can even start to tilt the chest a little bit more up towards the sky. Take it a little bit more into the core, into the front body. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's take that right hand back onto the mat and start to bring the knees down to the ground. And we'll take this on the other side. So the reason why I'm turning around, guys, is you can see a little bit better. But you guys stay where you are. We're going to take the left leg out behind us now. Tuck the toes, drive that heel away. So again, just focusing for the moment on that lovely opening through the calf, through the hamstrings. Again, it might kind of go all the way up into the glutes for you. And allow the head to bow down. Wonderful. From here, again, we're going to take those little rocks back and forth. So take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to bring the top of the foot down towards the mat. Press the ankle down towards the ground as well. Inhale, tuck the toes under, drive the heel back. Exhale, bring yourself forwards, top of the foot comes down, opening up through the ankle. Let's take one more together. Inhale, pressing back. Exhale, press the top of the foot down towards the mat. Beautiful. And then just coming back slightly, so you're tucking the toes under, but this time we're dropping the foot all the way to the mat, sole of the foot plants down. Right foot will come off to the edge of the mat. Stack your hips one on top of the other. Maybe bring your hands to your hip first, and then you can start to reach that left arm up and over. So I feel this particularly in that right hip, kind of in the right groin as well, depending on where you feel. You might feel it down the other leg as well. So we're going to reach that left arm towards the front edge of the mat, press down, consciously press into the blade of that back foot. And again, start to tilt the chest a little bit more up towards the sky. Couple more breaths here. One more inhale. As you breathe out, we're going to take that left hand down to the mat, come back into your tabletop pose. Now, before we come into a little bit of a flow, guys, I want us to kind of really focus on the wrist. And I think it's really important as baristas and anyone in the coffee community particularly to work on your wrists, as you're probably kind of using your hands quite a lot. You may be lifting things, kind of pulling shots, whatever, what have you, and our wrists can get battered over time. So let's do a few more of those exercises together. We're going to start by pointing the fingers back towards the knees. So just planting down through the hands. And then ever so gently, I want you to sink the hips back towards the heels. Now just enough so you begin to feel the stretch and lengthening on the insides of the arms into the wrist. Not too much that you're hyperextending or overextending yourself here. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's just gently bring ourselves back to center. We're going to change directions with the fingers. So we're actually going to point them back towards the knees now, but with the palms flipped upwards. So start with one hand first, grounding down to the top of the hand, spreading through the fingers. And again, we're just going to sink those hips back towards the heels, opening into the top of the hand, the top of the wrist. Couple breath. One more inhale. As you breathe out, come back to center. Bring that palm down, we'll change sides. So flipping the other hands, pressing down to the top, and then gently sink those hips back towards the heels. Beautiful. So one hand's always going to feel a little bit more, I guess a little bit tighter than the other. That's always my right wrist. So if you want to hold this for just a little bit longer, feel free. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly ease off by bringing your weight forwards again, and then start to flip the palm. Bring the hips back towards the heels, just give the hands a little bit of a shake out. Roll the way, roll the other way. Beautiful. Give them a little bit of a shake. Come back into your tabletop, guys. We're going to set up for a downward dog to make our way into some sun salutation today. So, shoulders above the wrists. You're going to tuck the toes under. You're going to drive the hips back towards the heels, and then begin to lengthen out through the legs, coming into your downward facing dog. So as you come up into this lovely upside down V shape, guys, try to kind of move around a little bit. We're not going to find the perfect position instantly. We're still warming up. So feel free to kind of pedal out the legs, maybe give the head a nod, yes, shake the head, no. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, let the head just nice and relaxed. Send the chest slightly back towards those thighs as well. Now, little kind of reminder here, we don't need to keep our legs super straight or get the heels down towards the mat. They can have a lift and you can bend the knees as much as you need to. You want to keep the spine long, most importantly. So as long as your spine's nice and straight and the sit bones, the tailbone, the bum bones, if you will, are pointing directly upwards, that's all good. Wonderful. Now from here, guys, we're just going to lift the heels a little bit more. We're going to gaze between the hands and just start to walk the feet behind the hands, making your way up to the front edge of your mat. And then just let yourself kind of hang heavy. So you might want to just stay in stillness. You might want to gently sway from side to side. Grab hold of either elbow, come into a little ragdoll sway. If you are feeling a little bit more open today in the back, grab hold of your ankles and just gently bring the upper body closer down towards the legs, keeping a bend in those knees. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, finding a sense of stillness here, we're just going to start, make our way up to standing, little by little, one breath at a time. Start to roll the body up. Head a little last. Once you reach the top, just give the shoulders a nice roll backwards. And then roll forwards. Beautiful. Bring your feet together. Bring the hands to the heart space, thumbs in towards the chest. We inhale, we're going to bring the arms up through the center, reach nice and tall, gaze up towards the thumbs. As you breathe out, we're going to bend the knees, swan dive forwards, bring the hands down towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. So either bring the fingertips to the mat or hands to shins, gazing forwards, flat back. And as you breathe out, hands going to come down. You're going to step the left foot back and then drop that left knee, untuck the toes. And we're going to come up into a nice little kneeling position here, opening up into that left hip, lengthening through that quad. So just take a moment, maybe place the hands, interlacing them, just place them behind that right knee. Ease yourself down a little bit more, opening a little bit deeper into that left hip, that left quad. Just going to change sides so you can see it for the next part. Holding this here for a few breaths. Notice how that feels today. Beautiful. Now from here, guys, I want you to just release the arms down to the side. We're going to inhale to reach the arms up to the sky. As you exhale, I want you to cactus open the arms. You're bringing the elbows down. So look, it's like a W shape here, squeezing the shoulder blades and just lifting through the chest. Slight back bend here. Inhale, we're going to lift the arms back up. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Elbows come down. One more inhale. Exhale, cactus open those arms. Good stuff. Come back to center. Bring the hands to your heart space. We're going to find a little bit of a twist, so working a little bit more into that spinal area. So bringing the left elbow, guys, to the outer edge of the right knee. Find that connection first. Then sort of stack the right elbow above the left. Hands at your heart space. And then use this as an anchor to twist. Beautiful. Now you might want to stay here. If you want to get a little bit deeper, you can tuck the back toes and come up into a little lunge twist instead. This is just going to help to deepen it into that right glutes, into the right quad as well. Holding this. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's lower that back knee if it's not already there. Untuck the toes, come back to center. Hands are going to come down towards the mat. And we're going to send those hips back in space to come into a lovely hamstring opener. So as you lengthen out that front leg, lifting the toes, resting onto the heels is going to help to deepen that stretch. Take the hands back in line with that back knee. You either want to stay here. If you want to take it a little bit further today, you can actually sink the hips all the way down to that back heel and come into some half split pose. But either option, we're going to inhale to lift the chest a little bit more. Exhale to fold up and over that right leg. If you're in your half splits, feel free to kind of place the forearms down alongside the leg. Eyes closed, take a few breaths. Wonderful. Let's take one more inhale. As you breathe out, I want you to bring that right foot down and back onto the mat. You're going to draw the knee forward so it's just above the wrist, the ankle. Frame the foot with your hands. You're going to put the back toes under, lift the back knee, then step back into your downward facing dog. Again, if you want to pedal out those legs, that might feel quite nice. Maybe you nod the head yes this time, shake the head no. And we'll come back into it on the other side. So, starting to find a sense of stillness in your downward facing dog. You're going to lift those heels a little bit higher. You're going to bend the knees. This time, if you want to either step, hop, or jump towards the front of the mat, feel free to make that choice. So feel free to hop there, and then lengthen those legs again. We're going to come back into a forward fold. But this time, we're going to use a little hook forward fold, a Padadustasana as it's called in Sanskrit. So with your first and second fingers, you're going to wrap them around your big toes, create a little like hook here. Thumbs will come onto the tops of the toes as well. Now, I want you to think about taking away from the back body and more towards the feet. So kind of shifting the weight forwards just a touch. Not fall on your head, but just a little bit. And then from here, bending to those knees, take a moment to find your hook. Then you're going to begin to lengthen through the upper body, gazing forwards and start to straighten out the legs a little bit more. Nice flat back. Take a deep breath in. As you do that, you're going to bring the elbows out to the sides, keeping the legs where they are, using those arms as anchors to bring the head and the upper body down. Beautiful. Holding this for a few breaths. One more inhale. So breathe out, releasing the fingers from around the toes. You're going to heel toes, feet back to touch. And bring your hands to the heart space already. We're going to inhale to ripple up through the spine and reach those arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands back to your heart space. Let's take one more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, we're going to bend the knees now, swan dive forwards, come down to that forward fold. As you breathe in, halfway lift, fingertips to the mat or to your shins gaze forwards. Exhale, come back down to that forward fold. This time you're going to step the right foot back, drop the back knee, untuck the back toes, and come up into your little kneeling pose here. Feel free to kind of adjust if you've kind of traveled down the mat like I have. So again, I want you to just interlace the fingers, place the hands just behind the knee, not directly onto the knee. We want to protect our joints here. Just a little bit onto the thigh, and ease those hips down towards the ground, opening a little bit more into that right hand side, especially down the right quad. Beautiful. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're just going to release the hands. Inhale to reach the arms up to the sky. Exhale, going to cactus open those arms again. Send the chest up towards the sky as you bring those elbows down, sinking the hips a little bit lower. Two more, inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale, lower, a little bit deeper, beautiful. Then come back to center, bring the hands to your heart space. We're going to find that little bit of a twist. So, right elbow to the outer edge of the left knee this time. Once you've found that hook, start to stack the left elbow directly above it, hands at your heart space, and you can either stay here twisting from the ground, or if you want to take it a little bit further, you can tuck those back toes, lift the back knee, and come up into a low lunge, sort of side twist as well. Holding this for a few more breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, we're going to drop that bottom knee, bring the upper body back to center, hands are going to come down towards the mat, untuck those back toes, and again, let's make our way into that hamstring stretch. So this, ending those hips back in space, lengthening out that front leg, lifting the toes. As you press down through that heel, guys, it's going to help to accentuate the stretch into those hammies, into the back body. Now, hands are going to come back in line with that back knee. Either staying here, if you want to take it a little bit further, you can come down to your half splits. Either option though, we're going to inhale, lift through the chest. Exhale to fold up and over the leg. So again, half splits. If you want to then bring the forearms down alongside the body, you can. Couple more breaths here. One more inhale. As you breathe out, I want you to drop that front foot down towards the mat. Bring the knee forward. So you're going to frame the foot with your hands, tuck the back toes under, and lift the back knee. This time you're going to step back into a plank pose. So nice and strong through the core. Scooping the tailbone under here, round slightly through the upper back. So you're creating a lovely, strong structure through the body. From here, we're going to drop the knees, untuck the toes, and lower the body all the way to the mat. So keeping those elbows grazing past the rib cage, little by little coming all the way to the ground as you make your way into a sort of press up, a low press up position here. Elbows sort of pin back towards the body. Wonderful. Now, we're going to take our hands off of the mat, so wide on the mat here, but in line with your shoulders. Palms of the hands planted down. We're going to come into some cobras to kind of work that spine a little bit more. Pressing down through the feet, through the shins, and the tops of the thighs. As you breathe in, I want you to snake the spine upwards, lifting through the chest. Keep those shoulders away from the ears, so we don't want to be hunchy here. Shoulders are down and away, slight bend to those elbows, gazing forwards. As you exhale, you're going to lower the body down towards the mat. Let's take two more. Inhale, snaking the spine up, cobra position. Exhale, lowering back down. I guess that's why they call it cobra. It's a snaky with the spine. Inhale, lifting up. Beautiful. Shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Exhale to lower back down. Beautiful. Now, coming into something a little bit more funky, we're going to come into a shoulder opening, guys. So, if you have space, I want you to bring both arms out to the sides. If you don't have a lot of space though, just keeping your left arm out to the side for now and kind of adjust as we go along. So left arm's going to stay out to the side, sort of like in a T shape here. The other arm can just be bent if you need. You're then going to bend the opposite leg. So for me, it's the right leg. If you're using the left arm, it's going to be the right leg. Bringing the foot in towards the glutes. Trying to keep the shoulder down. We're actually going to lift that right knee up and then try to take the foot over towards the left-hand side. Allow the head just to rest, so the left cheek to the mat. And if you want to, you can bring the foot all the way down to the right-hand side, lifting through that knee, really helping to open up through the chest and to the shoulder. Holding this for a few deep breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, gently ease yourself back to center. So you're going to bring the upper body down and then release that right leg to the mat. And just let that left arm relax. We'll take it on the other side as well. So this time, right arm is going to go out to the side like a T shape. Again, you can have the other arm kind of extended too if you have space, or just let it be bent as if you've got quite like limited space around you. You're then going to bend the opposite leg. So again, this time it's going to be the left leg, drawing the foot in towards the glutes. Then start to lift the knee off of the mat, and then try to take the foot over towards the right hand side. Now you might not necessarily touch the ground, that's okay. Let the head rest on the right cheek, and as you draw that left knee up, you're working into the shoulder, pressing that shoulder down towards the mat, maybe even bringing that left foot to the ground as well. Let's hold this for a couple breaths. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's bring ourselves back to center. Upper body comes down, then release the leg. And bring the arm back in towards you. Hands are going to become underneath the shoulders here. Tuck the toes under and start to press through the hands. We're going to bring the hips back towards the heels, lengthening through the arms, let the head bow down, coming into a little bit of a child's pose type thingy majiggy here. It's not quite a child's pose, but we're lengthening through those arms and letting the spine gradually open up as well. Take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, let's just bring ourselves back to that tabletop. Then drop your hips down to one side. You're going to swing the legs forward. We'll come into a nice little seated position. So feel free to give the legs a little bit of shakeouts. Wiggle them, maybe wiggle the feet, kind of shake out the ankles a little bit. Beautiful. Then we're going to come into some sort of like forward fold type bends here. So keeping the legs extended here, I want you to bring your right knee in towards your chest. So hug it in nice and tightly here. Then you're going to place the sole of the right foot onto the inside of the left thigh. As you allow that knee to drop to the sides, guys, if that feels quite uncomfortable and you want some support, you can always place your pillow underneath the knee or underneath the thigh, just for a little bit of extra comfort. Make sure these toes are pointed up towards the sky, flexing, so you're kind of really getting that activation through the leg. We're then going to turn the hips, guys, over to kind of face that knee. And I want you to bring your left elbow, your left forearm, if you will, down to the inside of the left leg. You might even want to wrap your fingers around the big toe if you want to, or just keep it here. And then we're going to reach the right arm up and then take the arm over, reaching nice and far so you get this lovely lateral stretch along the right hand side. If you want to take it even further, you can always bring the hands down towards that big toe of the left foot. But totally up to you. If you're just here, don't worry, this is still as good of a stretch as any. Beautiful. Holding this. One more inhale. As you breathe out, using that right arm to bring it back down. You're going to place the hand down behind you. Now I want you to press the foot down towards the mat. You're going to press down through that knee, the right knee, and then lift yourself up. Reach the left arm up towards the sky and bring it overhead, coming into sort of like a wild thing. So as you lift those hips up, guys, you're pressing that left foot down to the mat, sending those hips forwards, and letting the body, front body open up. Beautiful. Holding this. One more inhale. As you exhale, slowly lower yourselves down. Turn your hips now, so you might want to just adjust yourself so you're now facing the front edge of the mat. Right hand's underneath the knee, draw it back up and towards your chest. Left hand's going to grab hold of the shins, take the foot over the left leg. Try and keep both sit bones grounded here. And then you're going to take the right arm out behind you, come up into the fingertips, so you're maintaining the length through the spine. Inhale, reach the left arm up. As you exhale, you're going to hook the elbow to the outer edge of the right knee and find a nice twist. So like we did before with the anchor and the little side twist we did in our lunge, I want to use that elbow as an anchor to twist through the upper body, gazing over that back shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to take a counter twist. So take the hands over to the left and twist in the opposite direction. We make your way back to center. Unravel the legs and extend that right leg out. Give them a little bit of a shake out as well. And we'll do the same on the other side. So let's flip over, or after hugging, feel free to stay where you are. We're going to bring the left knee in towards your body, hug it nice and tightly in, then so the left foot's going to come onto the inside of the right thigh. Drop the knee. Again, if you want to have a little bit more support through that left knee, you can do so. Again, we're going to turn our hips, so sort of facing over that left knee, making sure these toes are nice and flexed. Right forearm's going to come onto the inside of the right leg, or even wrapping your fingers around the big toes if you have that available to you. Going to inhale to reach the left arm up. Exhale to fold up and over. So we're getting a side stretch here, guys, focusing on kind of turning that body around, getting a lovely axial rotation here, sending the chest up towards the sky. Beautiful. And again, if you want to reach that top hand down towards the toes, you can. Or just let it hang out in the air. Let's take another deep breath in. As you breathe out, you use that left arm to sweep back, placing the hands down behind you. You're going to lift the right arm up, press down through that knee, draw the right foot down to the ground, and lift those hips up, so coming into the little wild thing on the left-hand side. So if you can see here, we're pushing through the knee, pushing the hips forwards, and then sort of bending backwards, reaching the arm up and over. Just a little bit of fun here, a little bit of an inversion today to play around with. Hold this. One more inhale. As you exhale, we're going to slowly lower back down, starting to turn those hips that are facing the front edge. Place the left hand underneath your knee, draw it back in towards your chest. Right hand will grab hold of the shins, take the foot over the body. Left arm out behind you to support through the spine, maintaining length. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, find that hook with the elbow and twist. So that always feels quite nice, a twisted upper body here. Taking the gaze over that back shoulder. One more inhale. As you breathe out, let's come back to center and take that counter twist. So this time, hands will come over to the right. And take the gaze over the right shoulder. And then back to center, unravel the legs. Reaching through the arms as well. Let's just bring ourselves down to the mat. So little by little, keeping it controlled, one vertebra at a time. Eventually bringing the heads and the shoulders down. Good stuff. As the head comes down, guys, reach the arms overhead. Maybe interlacing the fingers or just letting the hands be. We're going to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, sigh it out. And let the arms fall down to your sides. And just give the head a little bit of a rock from side to side as well. That might look quite nice. And then let yourselves just find a sense of stillness. So letting the body be completely heavy. Letting your hands, your feet just rest out to the sides. Start to consciously let go of any residual tension you might be storing in the body. So often we find that we're clenching our jaws. Just let that go. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. Let the shoulders draw away from the ears. Hips to sink down. The knees to soften. The ankles, the toes to all relax. All right, guys. Start to bring your awareness back to the space. Start to deepen your breathing and let the belly just gently rise and fall. In your own time, begin to gently move through the body, so perhaps rock the head from side to side, wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, rotate through the wrists, through the ankles. And then start to bring your knees in towards your chest. Roll over onto one hand side. Keeping the eyes nice and closed, just making your way back into a seated position. Sitting nice and upright. Hands resting wherever feels most comfortable for you. Let the head just bow down, the back of the neck along the spine to elongate. And as we ease out of our practice this Thursday morning, just taking a moment to acknowledge how you feel, acknowledge the space, the clarity, the consciousness you might have created today for yourselves. Thank you to each and every one of you for enjoying the practice or joining the practice with me. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day ahead of you. Namaste.